time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
Okay, hello again, everybody, and welcome in. It is the Patrick Johnson Show as we get you ready for East Carolina and the Sea Chickens, as Pilk likes to call them. They are the Coastal Carolina. Is it Chanticleers, Pilk? I got screamed at on social media by lunatics that follow their baseball team.
I don't know. Is it Chanticleers or Chanticleers? I've heard both.
I think it's Chanticleers. I don't think it's Chanticleers. By the way, let me test something here. This is a test before we start the show live. 3. Okay, it is working. Oh, we are on the air. Oh, my mistake. A lot going on. Among the things I do is news for some stations up and down the fruited plain. And obviously, we've had a major news story in the world of news and politics today. And I think this has just been a sad thing for everybody. We're going to stick to sports as we often try to do here. But Turning Point USA's founder, a guy named Charlie Kirk, who actually was in Greenville sometime in the last 2 or 3 years, wasn't he, Pilk? He was on a campus visit, if I recall. I think I have that right.
Yeah, he was, because William Astoff worked for it. Okay,
and he was tragically, essentially, looks like assassinated today at Utah Valley University, which is one of the really big universities in the state of Utah. It might be the biggest public university in this. Well, maybe the second biggest behind Utah, but it's a pretty big university. Utah Valley is. In fact, I was talking to someone today. She actually went to Utah Valley and was just gobsmacked that something like this would happen on the campus where she graduated from. Anyway, between that and obviously what happened in Charlotte, which we haven't gotten into, and this is not the venue or place to do it, but I think we just are in a sick world at the moment, and I would just encourage you to do the things that make you happy and do them. Don't think twice about them, and just hold your family close, because you just don't ever know. You never know when the number's going to get called. Anyway, enough of that. We'll get into the sports side of things. We've got a top 5 to get to. Very excited to have Henry Trevathan on today. He, of course, is the director of high school relations at NC State, but Henry was the quarterback on the Rose State Championship team in 1975. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary of that occasion this year. And Henry is part of the group that's kind of spearheading some of the things they're going to do in early October in advance of their home game to open the conference against South Central. So he's one of the people that's organizing and is one of the ringleaders of that. So we look forward to having Henry on. I talked to him last week. We set this up. Pilk, we're going to have Brian North on Friday. We won't be here tomorrow because of the Logan show, but I wanted to tell you we'll have Brian North on tomorrow, which some of the things we talked about the other day for tomorrow we'll have to do. Did my code get through to you, Pilk, on that?
Yes, it did. I picked up on it this time.
Pilk and I usually have a chance to at least talk a little bit before the show. No, Pilk and I usually have a chance to talk a little bit before the show, and we just have not had a chance today because, again, of everything going on and some news obligations that I had to obviously address with this.
I'll be honest with you, I was running around doing some things here too, kind of up until the last minute, and so I think I'm not in the same boat you were in, but definitely was a little busy as well. So it is one of those days.
Well, so Henry Trevathan coming up, and do we have audio, Pilk? Will we have some audio if we need to go to that from some of the Pirate players?
We do. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So you can go back and if you missed yesterday's Harold Huddle, you can go back and listen to that on the IBX Media app. Of course, we had Jim Zoki on Monday, and we will have all this show as well archived on 94.3thegame.com, but also the IBX Media app, where you can listen to all of our shows. You can listen to all of our coverage, the Logan Zone, Steve and I Go, so you can listen to it all here on your device via the IBX Media app, which is free for download. All right. Should we take a break, Pilk, and maybe reset and come back, or do you want to go ahead and do the top 5?
What time's Henry coming on? Do we have a time?
15, 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. We can go ahead and do the top.
I was about to say, we
can do whatever you want to do.
But, yeah.
Yeah, let's hit a break and reset and allow me to kind of get my bearings, allow Pilk to get his bearings, and then we will come back with a top 5, and then we'll come back with Henry Trevathan as well later on in the show. All right, stay with us. Patrick Johnson's show on this 10th day of September.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
All right, we have top 5 at 5. Let's get to it. Oh, did you play it? I didn't hear it. Okay,
yeah, I played it coming back. I was waiting for you to hit number 1. I just played that instead of a rejoin to save time.
Oh, well, that's all right. We're all a little off today. It seems like, Pilk. There's a lot going on, as we said. All right. Let's see here, Pilk. Number 1, what do we have? What do you have for us, Mr. Pilkington? Number 1.
This would normally be waited for tomorrow, but obviously we're preceded by Coach Logan. East Carolina will open their conference play in women's soccer tomorrow night against Tulsa inside Johnson Stadium. Johnson Stadium at 7 p.m. Admission is free all season long to Pirate women's soccer.
All right, sorry, I was a little slow on the uptake there in more than one way. Well, look, this is where the games really count, right, Pilk? I mean, this is where these non-con results, as you like to say, to be able to show off and flex your soccer parlance, they're great. They're great. The results are great, but now is where the results really matter. This is a league, fair to say, a one-bid league. The American in soccer and women's soccer, maybe a two. Well, no, it depends on, I guess, what certain teams do. So it could be a two-bid league, but point is, it's not a 3 or 4 or even deep bid league. So if you're East Carolina, you need to probably either finish in the top or win the tournament in order to find yourself in the NCAA like they did last year. So this is where it counts. This is the meat and potatoes, as I like to say, about the sport. And look, Tulsa is not at the level ECU is, at least on paper. So if you're going to finish with the opportunity to play for a conference tournament, you need to beat a team like Tulsa, especially at home tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. And what I like about this soccer team is I feel like the offense is coming along. I think it's something they struggled with early in the season, and they are a defensive-minded team, but I think we saw it Sunday night. They got down early 2-0. Were able to rally back, did get a goal, unfortunately. Could have had a chance at a penalty kick there in the last minute of the game. We're not awarded the penalty. But I just think the offense is playing with more fluidity, and I think they have a good opportunity to go out there and take care of business against teams that they should take care of business at. I was a little worried early in the season you could maybe see some scoreless draws, against lesser opponents, but I think the offense is finally finding their footing.
All right, number 2.
Number 2.
All right, number 2, Pilk. What we got?
It wouldn't be the NFL regular season without the San Francisco 49ers putting a star player on IR. I think it was just as we were signing off actually yesterday that George Kittle, star tight end for the 49ers, hit the injured list. I guess, knock on wood, they made it through 1 week with McCaffrey. So there's the one perk going on in the Bay Area.
What did I text you when they said Kittle would not be back in the game the other day?
Would you say Niners going to Niner or something like, or these guys?
They're snake bitten,
something like that.
They're snake bitten. I mean, so this isn't, as you say, unexpected. It's not unexpected that a Niner gets hurt and a key Niner gets hurt. It's just terrible luck. It's bad luck, and again, I think given kind of their schedule where they are, if the talent stays healthy, they could be a top 2 seed in the NFC. The big problem is going to be, can you stay healthy? Now, CMC staying healthy is a huge part of that. And they could probably survive a Kittle injury in San Francisco a little more easily. Not saying it's easy, but a little more easily than you would survive a CMC injury, or a little more easily than you would survive, say, an injury by their left tackle that we talked about. I mean, that's the
Williams,
one that,
yeah,
you got it. Was it Trey Williams? You got to stay healthy
I think.
Trent Williams, you're right. You got to stay healthy with him. And I even would say, they could afford not, if they had an injury, God forbid, to their quarterback. You can maybe get through this a little bit, although Kittle is obviously a very special player for him and does quite a lot.
Yeah,
where does this put them in your hierarchy right now? Because I think we both would also agree it's Green Bay. They look like, overreaction after 1 week. Green Bay looks like the team. I really like Washington. I told you I think they will win that division in the NFC East.
Yeah, I think, on paper, it's between San Fran and Detroit. The thing is, Detroit is coming with 2 new coordinators, and when historically you've got 2 new coordinators, it's going to hurt. San Fran's got the injury bug, but teams that I think are consistent, teams who, knock on wood, historically can stay healthy, teams that are well-rounded offensively and defensively and maybe don't have the stars, you got to talk about Green Bay. You've got to talk about Washington. And then I think Philly will get into that picture, but that turnover on defense has me a little worried that it's going to be a slow start to the season, but it was a slow start to last year's season, and then we blinked and they were up 34-0 on Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So I think Philly's going to be one of those teams that are going to continue to trend up, and as long as they do, especially defensively, again, a lot of turnover, they'll be in that conversation as well. But if they don't trend up defensively, I've got some worries about them.
All right, brand new number 3 here. We got it tested for you.
3.
I like it. It's very cheerful, very
It's courtesy of the Big Hen.
There you go.
Courtesy of the Big Hen.
All righty. We have Jags head coach Liam Cohen said that Travis Hunter is expected to play more defense this week than he played last week. He only saw 6 defensive snaps in the Jags season opener against the Carolina Panthers.
I think what Zoki said the other day was he cannot play both sides, especially if he's going to be mainly an offensive player. Are they going to do this just based on the matchup each week? Did they think that him as an offensive player was a better matchup against Carolina and maybe not so much defensively? And also, is it a little easier to maybe get the offense down than get the defense down in the NFL if you're a rookie? Is that why they maybe limited his snaps last week? I don't know. But I'll say this. I do think while you will see him in spot duty on one side of the ball wherever he winds up predominantly, I just don't think you have to play him where he gives you the best chance to win a game. Where does he impact the game the most? Because he can play. I don't think there's any doubt he has ability. But how does he impact winning? What's the side of the ball or the position where he will impact winning the most?
If he can be successful, corner. Because there are a lot more wide receivers in the league than there are cornerbacks who are ready to play at this level.
Dime a dozen.
But to your point, Patrick, when you say grasping one or the other quicker, I don't know if it's as much of a mental grasp, but I think a physical grasp. I think when you go out there and you run a route, you run a route. When you go out there and guard a college wide receiver, it's a heck of a lot different than guarding an NFL wide receiver. It just is. The game's just faster, and it's a lot easier to adapt as a wide receiver. A dig route's a dig route, baby. You go 10 yards, and you cut 90 degrees.
Next.
Y'all ran it in the backyard. All right.
4-4-4.
Do it 4 times.
There we
That's
go.
16 foes.
Last night, the U.S. men's national team defeated Japan 2-0. This is Slow Sports Day, Patrick. Sorry. This is their first win since January 20th with the full senior squad. They did have a lot of success in the Gold Cup, but that was more of a, guys in the early 20s. It's kind of the B squad out there. So big win for them. They've really struggled this year.
So I don't think, and as you say, this was the full A squad. It's never been an issue of talent, has it, with the U.S. men's soccer team? You follow this much more than I do. I mean, there's talent. Would you agree, or do you disagree with that?
There is. I mean, they're not at the level of France, Brazil, but there definitely is talent to be a top 16 team in the country or in the world where you feel like you should make it out of the group play in every World Cup. But
now
roster construction and coaching has just not been.
Well, I was going to say, so it would seem, construction of the roster, as you say, coaching, continuity, consistency. Those are the type of things. All the C words. Those seem to be the words that come to mind when you think of the plight of U.S. soccer. The big question is, can they build on what they did against what was it, Japan in that? Can they build on that? If they can do that and start building towards the World Cup, and as you say, getting out of group play, then maybe we've got something.
Yeah,
maybe
they should, because they tier teams A list, B, C, D, so you get one from each tier in a group in the World Cup, but the host team automatically gets promoted as the A team. So you theoretically just don't have an A team in your group when you're the host, unless you're a France or somebody hosting. So they will have a very favorable group, and this is a way to biasly try and get the host nation at least into the first knockout round. There's going to be no excuse. We won't know the groups till December. There's going to be no excuse to not get out of the group.
5.
All right, 5, because we got to get to Henry Trevathan.
Yeah, we do. Major League Baseball playoff race heating up. American League wild card right now. Rangers first team out. They're up 6-3 on the Brewers in the 9th. Red Sox hold the second wild card. They're down 3-4 in Sacramento or wherever the heck the A's play. Also, a few other games have started. Diamondbacks up 5-0 on the Giants. Those teams battling in the wild card slot in the NL, and then Angels Twins. Both those teams kind of out of it. Twins have had a really bad time since the All-Star break, but Angels lead 3-1 in the top of the 5th.
You really left out what I think is the major baseball story today, and that is Anthony Rizzo is going to retire as a Cub. That's what you left out.
I'm sorry, I did not see that. I opened up. The problem is I started doing this and opened up Twitter after the shooting, and all I saw was I was like scrambling to find stuff.
So Rizzo is going to retire as a Cub. I guess he signed a one-day deal, and I think that's great, and I'm glad they did that, and I think it's deserved that they do that. The other thing, they're going to honor him before the game against the Rays Saturday, before the first pitch. To me, Rizzo, 10 of his 16 years, I think it's 10 of his either 14 or 16 years, but 10 years in Chicago, brought him a World Series, popular player, should have never have been allowed to go to the Yankees. He's a guy you keep forever. I understand you let Chris Bryant go. That's fine. That was always kind of a tenuous little relationship anyway, especially how they handled Bryant early in his career, bringing him up, sending him down, so his service days would essentially buy him an extra year of being in the organization. But Rizzo should never have been allowed to go to the Yankees.
100%.
And look, I'd take Rizzo right now with the bad back over Santana or Turner. I'd trust Rizzo at the dish in a pinch hit at bat before I would trust those other two tomato cans.
Sign him for the rest of the year. Why not?
Yeah, well, it's back. It's back.
He'll be all right.
All right.
Cortisone shot.
I am excited about the baseball postseason, Pilk. We need to get into more. We need to work on a baseball guest.
We do. Ike and I were talking about that today just after his show, how pumped up we are for this year's postseason.
Well, we got Mully. We need to get Mully on sometime.
Yeah.
We'll do that. All right. Let's hit a break. When we come back, Henry Trevathan will be joining the Patrick Johnson Show. So stand by for that here on 94.3 The Game.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.
Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Beep, beep. Move over, Buttercup. We're back to the show.
They're back. And I love them.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
This is the 50th anniversary of J.H. Rose's 1975 State Football Championship. And coming up in October, they will be getting together as a team with many of the players and the community invited to participate in the various events they will have honoring this team. So here to tell us about it right now is the quarterback from that 1975 Rose Championship team. He currently serves as the liaison for high schools with the NC State football program. Henry Trevathan joins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Henry, great to have you on. Enjoyed our chat last week and looking forward to talking about the Rampants with you.
Well, thank you, Patrick. It's great to be on and talk about that year and that run we had.
Well, let's first tell the folks, and we'll also revisit it at the end. But let's talk a little bit about what you guys have planned in the coming weeks.
Well, on October the 2nd, which I think is a Thursday, we're going to all meet up in Greenville. We've got a room set aside and reserved, and we're going to have a reception for the team mates and team members that can be there. And that'll go on that evening. And then Friday morning, a group of us, I don't know the exact number, but a group of us will play in the Scales, Aldridge Scales golf tournament that they have that raises money for Rose Athletics. And then that night at the football game, I believe it's South Central, Rose and South Central. We're going to have a tailgate before the game for the team, the 75 team, and then I think at the end of the first quarter, they're going to recognize the team, and we'll go out on the field and do that. So that's what's planned, and we're all looking forward to getting back together and telling old war stories and seeing how old everybody's gotten.
Henry Trevathan joining us here, member of the Rose 1975 State Championship football team. Others that were on there, and we'll hear from them in the coming weeks. Mike Brewington, Max Joyner, who claims he was the star of the whole thing. Doug Pascal, who went on to play in the pros, if I'm not mistaken. He played for Washington, didn't he, Doug Pascal?
He played for Minnesota.
Okay.
He played a couple of years with Minnesota, and I think had a knee injury. And then Mike Brewington played in the USFL, I know, and I think he I don't know exactly the details of, he had a tryout in the NFL. I don't know exactly how long that went, but I do know that he did play in the USFL.
Yeah.
So,
Harry Pear, another name from that team. We'll hear from all those folks in the coming weeks. So you were the QB, as I understand, on that championship team. But as you go back and you sort of remember 50 years ago, does it seem like yesterday, or does it seem like 50 years ago?
Well, some days it seems like 60 years ago. Other days it seems like it was just last week. It's hard to believe it's been 50 years, but obviously when you sit down and look at it, it's been quite some time, and I think that we're very fortunate of that group. I don't know the exact number, but a lot of those teammates are still living. I think we've lost maybe 7 or 8. And, I think that's, a good thing. And it's good to know that a lot of those guys are still around. And we're looking forward to getting together and seeing everybody.
When you look back at kind of the beginning of the season that year in 75 and, the preseason practices, all of that, and then you go through the regular season, then you go through the run to the championship. What kind of stood out to you when you reflect back on that?
Well, I think the thing that that really stood out to me was that, we had a really, really good group of guys, a good group that got along very well together. We had been, that senior group had been together for, since junior high school. 5 of us, played on the varsity team as sophomores. We went to the playoffs our sophomore and junior year. So going into our senior year, we had pretty high expectations of the team, and I think everybody thought that we had a chance to make the playoffs. And of course, once you get into playoffs, anything can happen. But we had some really, really good players. Of course, Doug and Mike were the Shrine Bowl selections, and they were very, very good players. And I think 3 or 4 of us others, went on and played in college. But the other group of guys, I think, really made the team complete. The guys that didn't go on to play college football, but they were all really, really good players. They were all really, really good teammates. We liked each other. We got along, and I think that was part of the success that we had was due to the fact that we were very loyal to one another, and we pulled together and were able to come out of some games that we maybe weren't as maybe the other team had as much talent as we did, but we were able to push it across the finish line, because of those intangibles.
We're speaking to Henry Trevathan. He was one of the seniors on the 1975 Rose football team that won the state championship, celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. They will be in town to do that in Greenville on October 2nd and October 3rd. Rose will play South Central that Friday at home. We have, you look back during the playoff run, you guys get by 71st in the first round, and then have a pretty easy time, at least, final score, winning by a convincing margin against Garner, beat Richmond, which you did so by a couple of scores, may have even been a 3-score game. But then you get East Mech in the state championship, and they're out of Charlotte, so it's the old East-West format that we're all familiar with high school athletics. What do you remember about the game itself and just the kind of the day leading up to the game? Where was it played, that sort of thing?
Yeah, back in those days, they alternated East and West. So the year we were there, it was being played in the western part of the state, so we played at East Mecklenburg's home stadium at their high school. Leading up to the game, there was some speculation that the game might be moved to Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, but we got word, I don't know if it was truthful or whether the coaches were pumping us up, but we got word that the East Mecklenburg people didn't think that we would bring that many fans, so they decided to have the game at the high school. So, of course, that, was a little bit of a motivation for us. And, it's a long bus ride, further than we had been used to taking, and we decided to go up the day of the game and spend the night after the game as opposed to coming up the day before. And, Coach Bumgarner's rationale was that we traveled the day of the game for every game that season, so let's don't break that routine. So we got up that Friday morning, got on the bus. We drove to Charlotte. I think we stopped somewhere along the way and had, our pregame meal. Maybe even went by the hotel and kind of checked in, and then went to the stadium and played. We had a very good crowd from Greenville. The stadium was packed. There was people, all around the end zones and, on the fence lines. East Mecklenburg had a very, very good football team. They actually, went out on us 13-7 going into the fourth quarter, and we were able to get a drive going. And actually, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. We went up 13-7, and they scored and went for two. And they had a very strong rushing attack and a very good running back who we knew he was going to get the ball, and our defense held him. Ended up winning the game 14-13. So it was a close game. It was a hard-fought game, and as most of our games were that year, with the exception of a few, it was very, very close. But it was a good win for us, and we instead of coming back to Greenville and celebrating, we celebrated that night in Charlotte after the game.
When you look at, do you remember who stopped them on the 2-point try?
Brewington, Mike Brewington.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
awesome.
They ran off tackle, and he was an inside linebacker, and he stepped up and I think made the initial contact, and then of course others, got in there on it as well. Of course, there was some contention in the Charlotte paper and around that he might have gotten in. Maybe a couple of their other players were quoted as they thought he had gotten in, but the referees ruled him short, and we're not going to give it back.
It's funny nowadays that everybody gets these rings. Even if you're in like a travel sports tournament, you win it, you get rings or some gaudy such thing. Was there anything like that? Did you guys get championship rings 50 years ago, or what did you get, if anything, to kind of commemorate it?
Well, we got a nylon jacket. I remember we got a nylon jacket which had state champions on it. I think it was probably back then. It was H.L. Hodges was the sporting goods place there, and I think they probably got bought a bunch of jackets that had a Pepsi-Cola emblem on the sleeve, so I'm sure they probably paid for it. But we got a jacket, and I think we might have had a T-shirt or maybe a hat. But back then it wasn't rings or anything like that. But we were just happy to have won, and felt fortunate to have been on that team, and we were okay with it.
Henry, you've obviously had a decorated career in collegiate athletics and in your professional life in collegiate athletics, and here in the state, a Hall of Famer in your own right in the state of North Carolina. When you look back, though, at that, are you still kind of lifelong friends, especially with those guys that were seniors?
Absolutely. There's 5 of us that have kept together very strongly and pretty consistently. There's a group of guys who left Greenville, left North Carolina, and have moved across the country, and obviously we hadn't been able to keep up with them. But I think that when we see those guys on the second, when they walk in, we'll know exactly who everybody is. We'll pick up right where we left off, and I think that says a lot to the type of team that we had, the type of kids that we had, and the character of the kids that we had, which I think was a big part of the reason that we were able to win those games. When you get into playoffs, anything can happen. And a lot of times you have to have a little bit of luck along with some talent along the way. And a lot of those guys that may not were all-conference players or, played in college. They were really, in my view, probably as much of the reason that we were able to go all the way and win a state championship as much as those of us that did go on and play in college or beyond. We had some very talented players, but we had a good group of really good, solid players as well. You mentioned Max Joyner and Harry Pear. Mac Blunt was a young man who started on that team in the backfield as a sophomore. We had some kids and some teammates that really filled in the cracks and got after it. Phil Gibbs, John Mallow, Ron Moorhead, Mike Brewington's brother Derek was a junior on that team who actually kicked a field goal that we beat 71st 10-7. So it was a strong team all the way around. We had really good players, and then we had a whole bunch of the really good, solid kids and really good, solid players. That's what I remember about it more than anything. We had a good coaching staff. Back then, RV coached our offensive line. I think it might have been his second or third year at Rose. Billy Bird, was one of the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Big Jim Brewington, ran our defense and was our defensive coach. And then, of course, Coach Bumgarner, Dave Bumgarner, was our head coach. We had some people on the faculty. Our trainer was one of our biology teachers who got in there with us and went with us for the whole ride. We had a young man, Cray Hutton, that was in the same class we were in, but he wasn't able to play because of an injury. He was sort of our manager, and he was part of it. So we had a good group of guys that made it hard for teams to beat us because of the bond that we had with everybody.
And again, with Dave Bumgarner, what lessons did he teach you that you've been able to kind of, apply to your coaching, but also your just life as a man?
Well, I think, we were an option team. We were, we didn't throw it a whole lot. We ran the option. We had, a big fullback in Doug Pascal, two shifty running backs in Mac Blunt and William Joyner. And I didn't throw it a whole lot. I was kind of like a fourth running back, I guess. And I think what I learned from Coach Bumgarner was that, you're going to do what you can do the best. And we didn't try to fabricate, things, gimmicks, tricks, whatever. We did the same thing all the time. And, when it came down to, to the tough part of things, we did what we've been doing even harder. And I think that's what I learned from him was, and on fourth down or on the goal line, plays don't make touchdowns, players make touchdowns. And I think what I learned from him was that, plays and schemes didn't win the state championship. Our team won the state championship. And he was willing to, be consistent with what we did. On defense, we were a four-man front, and we like to bring linebackers on stunts, and that's what we did all year. Coach Bumgarner and Coach Brewington had that same philosophy. So I think that's probably the thing I learned from him more than anything was that, you work all off season, and you get everything in the right spot, and then during the season, you do what you do. And I think that was a lesson for me that I've tried to keep in my coaching career.
Henry, looking forward to seeing you the beginning of October and all of your teammates. Thank you so much for the time here. And again, that'll be October 2nd, a reception. If folks want to learn, how they can maybe go to the reception or just participate, is there a place they could go or someone to contact?
Well, the reception is going to be players only.
Okay.
So that's we're going to preserve that for us. But I would say just come out to the game. We're going to be there a couple hours before the game in a tailgate there. They got a spot for us. I don't know exactly where it is, but somewhere around the stadium. And we'll be there. We'll be in the stands during the game. Feel free to come over and come up to us and say hi. We'd love to see all of our fans that have kind of aged with us. So come on out and enjoy the night and support Rose Athletics.
Henry, thank you for the time. We really appreciate it.
Okay, Patrick. Thank you.
Awesome to have Henry Trevathan on, quarterback for the 4A 1975 Rose Rampant High School football state champs. All right, when we come back, we'll play some audio for you as we get you ready for East Carolina and Coastal Carolina.
It's time to soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota. Summer is here with hot deals on a great selection of new Toyotas, like a Corolla, $189 a month, or Tacoma, $279 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville, we've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
The sun is out, and so are the deals at Greenville Toyota. Soak up the savings on a hot selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $289 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
The stunning conclusion.
Why is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
All right. Pilk, remember we heard a little thing about Jordan Hudson back in the spring?
We heard a little thing about her?
Well, we were told off the air about maybe in a part of because there was speculation that it was written in the contract that his son would be the head coach of Whitney. For what we understand, that's not the case. But we heard that something was the case, that there was something that had to happen for Air Jordan as part of the Belichick contract. And so I just saw this story about she has the clear bag because you have to take a clear bag into stadiums now. And there was like crumpled up paper in there with highlighted words. And I just wonder if that had something to do with the thing we were told.
It might.
Because
somebody needs the magnifying glass into her little clear bag.
I tried to magnify it a little bit, and it's tough to read. So it's like blurry. So that's a great mystery. We probably have time for what? Maybe one or two cuts?
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe three. We have
Okay.
5 minutes left.
Let's see here. What do you want to go with? You tell me, Pill.
Oh, my goodness. This was 48 hours ago, plus that I was on this press conference, man. I don't remember. Let's see. I think that scouting the Coastal defense cut 3 is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Just because they do play such a different brand of defense. So
Similar to what ODU does. Yep. Let's play that from Coach Blake Harrell.
Offensively, they're going to remind you of kind of a Mike Leach offense. Their offense coordinator is Drew Hollenshed. He was with Mike Leach at Washington State and Mississippi State. He was previously the offense coordinator at Western Kentucky. So he's going to spread it out and do some Mike Leach type stuff. Although as you say that, they ran the ball for 263 yards this past weekend, which is a little bit, you think of Mike Leach as an air raid guy, but he also liked to run the football as well. The two quarterbacks they used this past week was MJ Morris. MJ Morris, and Tad Hudson, the two they used, both 4-star kids out of high school. MJ started his career at NC State, transferred to Maryland after that, and was the starting quarterback game 1 this year for Coastal. And then Tad Hudson came in later in the game and kind of finished the game off for him. Tad started he's a Charlotte native, started his career at North Carolina, and has transferred to Coastal, last year. So you're going to see a lot of 3-by-1 open sets. If they're getting some 20 personnel with 2 backs back there, that's kind of what they like to run the football out of.
Well, I apologize. I'm a moron. That was cut 3. I told our great intern here, DeMarco, to play cut 3, but cut 3 was about Coastal's offense. That was the offense, and I misread the cut, so please direct all complaints to Philip Pilkington. But cut 4 is about their defense, and I apologize.
But I think it's good we got an idea of what they're going to do offensively. Let's now get an idea of what Coastal's going to do defensively. Let's play that.
Defensively, they got a new defensive coordinator, Jeremiah Johnson. Known Jeremiah for a long time. He's, a base quarters guy, but he's kind of, shifted a little bit to more of a 3-high safety, kind of like ODU, more of an Okie front, 2 5s, 3 down front. We'll see some quarters, some trap covers the boundary, and he'll use that middle safety kind of come downhill and fit a lot. And on 3rd down, you'll see a little bit of 4 down defense for him. Defensively, I think the guy that stands out to me is kind of their defensive end, Zeke Campbell. He's from Marietta, Georgia. Actually started his career at Lenore Ryan. Was at La Tech with Coach Johnson last year, and came to Coastal. So.
All right, so that's a little bit of the rundown, similar to what, as you heard ODU there, Coach is familiar with him. Look, I think I don't think it's a one-score game. I do think it's going to be a hard-fought, tight game. Oh, no, what happened, Pilk?
I'm watching the Red Sox. I'm sorry.
Oh, what did they do or not do?
Did not turn a double play that I thought the guy was out, but they're not going to review
They're going to appeal it?
Nope.
Okay. No appeal? All right. Well,
it's close. I cut you off. I
do?
apologize.
No. I was watching you. Look, I think it's been a very difficult day, and most common sense thinking people, humans, regardless, have probably been a little, like, wow, because we're in a college town, and it is the centerpiece of our city.
Yeah.
And
Greenville without ECU.
correct. and there's a lot of things that go on where there are gatherings of people. And, I think now, even like going to Coastal this weekend, I mean, that university probably is re-examining their policies as far as security goes.
Yeah.
And you have to. You have to. And look, so I was, one of the games I went to, you go through a metal detector. I had my sunglasses case in the back pocket of my shorts. And, it went off, so they had to wand me. I didn't pitch a fit. I kind of knew what it was, but, I wasn't sure. And I let them do their thing, and then they asked me, and I said, well, here it is, and showed them, and that kind of thing. You don't hassle these people.
No,
nobody's more impatient about things. Right. There's nobody more impatient about stuff than me. But I just, and I don't like, but I know now, okay, here's the bag. You have to search it. Go ahead. Have at it.
When it comes back to, we were talking about the clear bag policy with Jordan Hudson, that started after the clear bag thing started after the Boston Marathon bombing because the pressure cookers were inside backpacks.
Yep. All right. We will be back in the morning on Talk of the Town. We'll have plenty to talk about there. Steve Logan tomorrow with the Logan Zone. And then back Friday with Brian North as our guest and more. All right. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. And we'll catch you in the morning on what is sure to be a noteworthy Talk of the Town on Talk 103.7 in Greenville.